Hi guys, how are you this morning? It is Saturday, the day after Valentine's Day, February the 15th. It's been a minute, I know, since I've videoed, but by the way, that it's been a minute comes straight from Troop Zero, a movie that is on Amazon Prime. And if you haven't seen it, especially if you have kids, or all my kids are grown, I have grandkids now. It is one of the most, it is just, I can't even express how amazing this movie is. The acting, the writing, of course I'm, all about writing because I'm writing a TV series about Tallahassee. It's not about Tallahassee, that's the name of it. But that is, if that's the name of it, then it has to be about Tallahassee. Anywho, so I'm all about the writing and how they put it together and how the acts transition from one act to another, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, Troop Zero, you have to see it. But I wanted to share a couple things with you this morning. After a very busy holiday season, and I know it's like February 15th, so we're like way over the holiday season, but it was super busy, and for me, the busyness of it with work and getting married and parties and Christmas and Thanksgiving and all of that, this is the first time that I've been able to sit down and just really think about my passion and focus on it. So I wanted to share that exact same subject with you guys. Focus. So I've said this many times before, and I am fortunate enough to have figured out my purpose on this earth. And my purpose on this earth is to help people. And really, I think that's what everybody's purpose is, but you just don't know that yet. But anyways, to help people. And because of childhood programming, whether that came from our parents or, a bully in elementary school or first grade, or an elderly brother that picked on us all the time, or an elderly sister that picked on you all the time. Sorry, my sweet sister Kim, and my brother's Trey and Jay. But we are continually battling a programming system, which is also called a belief system. And most of the times, not most of the times, but a lot of times those belief systems are limiting. So you have these dreams, you have these desires. And first I want you to understand that if you can dream it, you can make it happen. What we battle all the time is our own thoughts. And I want you to understand that if you were to take your mind, not your brain, but your mind, because your brain is where factual knowledge is stored. Factual knowledge. The grass is green. It's factual. If I put my hand on this hot burner, I will get burned. That is a fact. That knowledge is all stored in your brain. Your mind, on the other hand, which is where all the thoughts are continuously ticking. Your mind is just a sponge of everything you've absorbed from the day that you were born up until whenever. And right now, 57 years old. So your mind really, if you were to take your mind, pull it out of your head, and give it a physical form, give it a body, and set it next to you, and allow it to speak what you're actually thinking about yourself, which is, I'm not good enough, that's not funny enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not skinny enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not talented enough, I'm not creative enough, whatever it is, it just keeps on ticking, those thoughts that just keep on ticking. If that was a person sitting next to you, you tell them to go F themselves. Like, excuse me, I'm not going to listen to this 24/7. Do you ever, shut up? And the answer is no, because your mind never shuts up. I mean, when you're sleeping, but as soon as you get up, next morning you're like, oh, I'm going to wear this. No, I look too fat. Oh, then I'm going to try this. Oh, no, oh my God, that shows too much. I got too many dimples in my ass for that. Oh, well, at 5 pounds, that's going to look better on me. You know, my hair looks like shit. For me, I'm going to wear a hat. You know, obviously, I'm not worried about that this morning, and I have my double pair of glasses. Hey, it builds character. You know, I have 2 pair of glasses. I wear 2 pair of glasses all the time. Yeah. Anyway, that's another whole blog or video post. Nonetheless, if you were to pull that train of thought and give it a body and put it next to you, at some point in time, you would just get up and walk away from it. You'd say, this is enough of the negativity. I just can't handle it anymore. And you would get up. I want you to understand that you can do that. Even if it's your own mind, you can shut it down. Now, and most of the time, if you think about it, at first you're going to be like, oh, that's bullshit. Most of the time, your mind, I'm not talking about your brain, I'm talking about your mind, is not for you. Your mind is literally against you. For good reasons, if you begin to understand what's really going on, your mind wants to protect you and wants to keep you in your normal. So if your normal is, I live paycheck to paycheck and I'm overdrawn all the time in the bank, and you know, my lights are getting shut off, which, by the way, I'm going to be honest with you, that was my normal, like 7 minutes ago. You know, ask my kids, they know. God bless those kids of mine. But I mean, we were having our phone shut off all the time. I mean, that was my normal. Your mind wants to protect you. Your mind is going to say, you know what? If you got out of your normal, you could get hurt. If you get this promotion, it's in a whole different level, and that's where doubt. Your mind is about doubt and all this kind of stuff. Your mind is trying to do a good thing, but it's really against you in the overall picture. So if you're thinking about going back to school, your mind is going to come up with a billion reasons why you can't do that. Doubt and fear. Your mind is going to come up with all this stuff because your mind wants to protect you. Your mind wants to keep you in your normal. Like, hey, we're in this, you know, you are a great whatever, and you're putting it together right now, but guess what? If you go to school, oh my gosh, people are going to talk about you maybe, or maybe you won't do well, or maybe, you know, but what I'm trying to say to you is that if you can dream it, you can make it happen. And, well, first of all, I'm living proof of it. I have overcome so much. I mean, in my life, I was, at 4 years old, sexually abused. It continued until I was about 10. And, you know, I was pretty much, I didn't have a support system that I needed to overcome that in a healthy manner. But back then, and especially when you're in the deep South, I mean, it was horrible. That's true, but it was just kind of what happened. I bet you if I would talk to 15 or 20 of my high school friends, they will have either experienced sexual assault and molestation, or they know somebody, or their sister did, or somebody. I mean, it was just a horrible thing, and it was just kind of like this thing that happened. Well, that happened to me. So I began to just believe, even at a very young age, at the beginning of 4 sweet, tender years old, that I basically was worthless, you know. And you know what? I fit that role well up until, like I said, 14 seconds ago, you know. And I began to understand, and I began to realize that I don't want to live like this anymore. I mean, I have depression that runs in my family, and then you mix all of that crazy shit in with menopause, and it's just like a big spiral. It's just a big, like, trip down to a cesspool of just darkness. And, you know, I battled depression, and I was on all kinds of estrogen and you know, antidepressants and just all kinds of crap. And one day, I mean, after seeing a show on Oprah, and this woman, I'll tell you, this is a horrible story, but this woman on Oprah, she was a very very wealthy, high-paid executive in a marketing or advertising agency in New York. Christmas Eve, she had bought this beautiful Victorian home. She was remodeling the home, and Christmas Eve, her parents had flown in to be with her. She was divorced, her and her 3 daughters and her boyfriend. House caught fire. I can barely get through this story. She loses everything. She loses her 3 daughters. She loses her mother and her father. Her boyfriend made it, and she made it. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And all of a sudden, obviously her life has just changed. She was on top of the world and her life changed. And she was depressed. Just depressed. And everybody month 1, month 2, month 3, however long, whatever the amount of time went by, and everybody's, wanting to give her medication and all this. And she finally says this to Oprah. She says, there was no pill that was going to make me get out of bed. And although I didn't have that kind of tragedy and trauma, emotional trauma happen in my life, I was battling just horrific depression. And friends, this was, I'm talking maybe, it was probably right around the time that I turned 50. So I'm 57. I just celebrated my birthday. But I saw that, and so I'm just kind of plowing through different antidepressants, and my doctors are telling me all this and giving me this medication, and I woke up one day and I said, I'm not getting any better this way. I stopped taking all the medication, all of it. I don't even take a vitamin now, which I probably should, but I don't take anything. But I stopped cold turkey, and I don't advise that, obviously. But I just had this desire to change my life, and woke up that morning and I'm like, no pill is going to make me get out of bed. And although I was functioning, I was going to work, but I dreaded everything. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to spend time with my family. I didn't want to, none of it. I didn't want to do anything. Around that time, I also got involved with horses again, but that's another story. But the horses, I'm a bit emotional because horses changed my life. Along with a teeny tiny little bit of spark that said, you have to get your ass off the couch and stop watching Oprah all day long, although Oprah did help me. The reason I'm telling you all this, friends, is that no matter where you are in your life, if you have a dream, you can turn that dream into a goal. A dream is nothing but a dream. A dream is always a dream. So let's change that. It's not a dream anymore, it's a goal, okay? And I want to teach you how to get out of the rut that you're in and start to live and I don't even like calling them dreams. I really don't, because that's just like some faraway land where, things magically come true, but it's still a faraway land that's not realistic. To be honest with you, to make dreams come true, you have to pull it into realization, and you have to make goals, and you have to have intention, and you have to, there's so much to making it happen. And unfortunately, we live in the United States of America where we can talk on the phone and go through a drive-through and eat and all on the way, and read and listen to a book on Bluetooth in our car, all on the way from point A to point B. And dreams don't come true overnight. You have the dream. You have to. It's not going to just fall in your lap. And unfortunately, like I said, fortunately, but unfortunately, it's a double-edged sword. We live in the land of opportunity, and that opportunity is a bit misguided because you have to work for it. You have to work for it. You can't be, you have to work, and you have to work for it. You have to have goals. You have to pull that dream out of the sky and bring it down onto paper and say, in 1 year, in 3 years, in 5 years, I want to do this. But then you have to be specific. I want to make $150 million in 5 years. All right, that's great. Yeah, you can do that. What are you going to do to make that happen? You know, I'm going to save this. I'm going to write this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to contact it. You have to make it specific. So my friends, I'm sharing this with you because after this crazy last, let's see, November to December, January, February, March, basically the past 4 months, I've had to kind of take a step back and let life just flow. It was a busy holiday season, like I said, but now I am focused on on obtaining my goals. It's not making my dreams come true, because that is what I'm doing, but I am focused on reaching my goals. And that includes videoing and blogging and writing and working on my TV series and all the things that I want to do. And I hope you join me on this journey. I am so honored and blessed to have you in my life. The millions of you that I know are out there watching right now, maybe 7 million, I don't know. We'll see, or 4. But I'm so blessed that you have given me your precious minutes, because we all have only a certain amount of minutes. And for you to be spending the last 16 minutes of your life listening to me, I'm blessed. Folks, wherever you are, whatever your dream is, you can obtain it. But you got to get the dream out of the clouds, bring it down, and let's have some goals, okay? That's your first step. Let's have some goals. And then you work to reach it. You have to work. You have to, confidence is doing. You build confidence. You're rewiring your mind. You know, I can't do this. I can't, your doubts and your fears. Oh, I can never go back to school. I have this, whatever it is. Confidence is doing. So if you take one class, so you can't jump into, you're a mother with 17 kids and a busy career because you have to, because you got to put food on the table. If you want to go back to school, just take one class. One class. That one class turns into 3 classes, and then the fact is the time is going to pass anyway. So you can do something that's going to move you towards your goals, and that's, by the way, what gets rid of that doubt and that fear in your mind is by doing. You can't just dream it. Oh, I wish I could go to school. I wish I could go back to school. Oh, I wish I could go back to school. But I can't. So your fear is going to take over. Your mind's going to take over. The fact is, take one class. Just take one class. Get through that one class. Then get through 2 classes. And then get through 4 classes. The time's going to pass anyway. Friends, I love you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let me just show you. I'm sitting on my front porch. There's Maggie. It's a beautiful morning. This February 15th. Say hi, Maggie. I don't even know if I got Maggie in there. I'm not good with all this. One of my goals is that I'm going to learn how to edit videos. Obviously, that hasn't happened yet. Friends, you have a fabulous 3-day weekend. President's Day is on Monday. And I will talk to you in a few days. Thanks so much. I love you guys.